Today we're taking a look at these NFL matches, which are happening on Sunday, December 12, 2021, and giving you match breakdowns, betting tips and predictions in general on these games. Welcome back to High Stakes, let's get straight into it. Also, don't forget to subscribe to get notified as soon as we release these sport prediction videos, and if you would like more betting tips and predictions, then check out our Patreon in the link down below. Our new Patreon is a way for us to help you improve your chances of making more money. 5 plans are available for each and every one of you. You can get 30 extra betting picks all the way up to 270 extra betting picks per month. Stop wasting hours of your time searching for bad betting advice that ends up costing you a lot of money. Join the High Stakes Patreon now and get the best betting picks and advice. New Orleans Saints vs New York Jets. The New Orleans Saints have been doing decently well on the defensive side of the field as they are giving up 23 points per game. In their previous game against the Dallas Cowboys, they allowed 27 points on 377 total yards of offense, 231 passing, 146 rushing. The Cowboys were unable to move the ball as they were 2 of 13 on third down attempts and failed to convert their only fourth down try. The Saints need to figure out how to stop the opposing running game as New Orleans allowed 6.1 yards per carry. Neither the Jets or Saints have played well recently, and each has only covered the spread once out of their last 5 games. Although the Jets have home field advantage, I think that may work against them on Sunday. With cold and possibly wet conditions expected for Sunday, the running games on both sides could be vital. The Saints have a huge edge with Alvin Kamara returning, while the Jets are 27th, averaging just 3.9 yards per rushing attempt. Our first betting advice is to pick New Orleans Saints minus 5.5. Defensively, New York has been one of the worst teams in the NFL. The Jets' defense is arguably the worst in the NFL. They are last in scoring defense, allowing 30.6 ppg in total defense, giving up 396.8 total yards a game. The Jets are 29th in both passing and rushing yards allowed. Last week the Jets were outgained 418 to 281 in their loss to the Eagles. Wilson completed 23 of 38 passes for 226 yards, with 2 touchdowns and 1 interception. The running game picked up 70 yards on 17 attempts, led by Tevin Coleman with 58 yards on 11 carries. Our second betting advice is to pick over 43. Dallas Cowboys vs Washington Football Team. Dak Prescott passed for 238 yards and a 1-yard touchdown to Michael Gallup. Prescott was intercepted by Marshon Lattimore in the middle of the fourth quarter, but the Cowboys cancelled out that turnover when Jordan Lewis hit Taysom Hill's arm as he released the ball and Damontae Kazee intercepted. It was an excellent defensive effort from a Dallas team that gave up 36 points the week before to the Las Vegas Raiders. This will be a crucial stretch in the schedule for Dallas, which plays 4 NFC East games over the final 5 weeks, including 2 of their next 3 games against the Washington Football Team. Washington has been among the hottest teams in the NFL over the last few weeks, and Mike McCarthy's guarantee isn't going to make things any easier for the Cowboys. Even with the defense dealing with some COVID-19 related absences, it's hard not to like the football team in this game. Our first betting advice is to pick Washington Football Team plus 4.5. Thomas left the win over Dallas with a knee injury and did not return. Unfortunately, the 30-year-old tight end will be forced to miss the remainder of the season and was placed on injured reserve Wednesday. Thomas's absence will be a blow for Heineke, who has been playing some of his best football of the season. The 28-year-old quarterback has completed 67.9% of his passes for 2,809 yards, with 18 touchdowns and 11 interceptions this season. He has completed at least 70% of his passes with 7 touchdowns and only 2 interceptions over the last 4 weeks. On defense, Washington has surrendered 24.8 points per game and 355.2 yards of total offense per contest. The football team defense has also allowed 263.9 yards per game through the air, the 3rd worst mark in the NFL, and they rank 3rd in the NFL against the run at just 91.3 yards per game. Our second betting advice is to pick under 48. Quick reminder, BetUS is a platform that offers betting on all major sport and horse racing leagues. It has slots, table games, blackjack, and a variety of other casino games. All of the major US leagues are available for betting, including the NFL, NBA, NHL, MLB, and PGA. In addition, BetUS allows wagers on esports, Olympic events, soccer, cricket, boxing, cycling, and many more competitions. Join BetUS now using our link down below and get 125% cashback bonus on your first deposit on the sportsbook after you open an account and deposit using our link and use our promo code HIGHSTAKES. Seattle Seahawks vs Houston Texans. The Seattle Seahawks have been playing some terrible football lately as they have lost 3 of their last 4 games. On the bright side, Seattle enters this game on a high note after beating San Francisco at home by 7 points in its last game. In that game, Seattle's offense was productive as it scored 30 points while recording 21 first downs. However, that stellar offensive performance was somewhat surprising since the Seahawks are averaging just 19.9 points per game. Now, Seattle will be looking for another quality offensive performance with a road game up next on Sunday. Seattle comes into this contest with its slim playoff hopes on the line, so I'm expecting the Seahawks to come out with some added urgency in this matchup. Mills hasn't done much under center this season, and it's hard to expect that to change in this spot. Meanwhile, Wilson looked more like himself last week, completing 81% of his passes in the win. Seattle is favored by 2 scores, but it should be able to run away on the road in this game. Our first betting advice is to pick Seattle Seahawks -8.5. It appears that the Tyrod Taylor experiment will be over in Houston, at least barring injury. Head coach David Culley recently announced that rookie Davis Mills will start Sunday against Seattle and stay the Texans' starting quarterback for the remainder of the season. Mills, 23, has completed 65.5% of his passes for 1,406 yards, with 7 touchdowns and 8 interceptions this season. However, he's yet to win a start under center in the NFL. On defense, Houston has surrendered 26.9 points per game, the 3rd worst mark in the NFL. The Texans' defense has also given up 379.0 yards of total offense per contest, including a league-worst 144.2 rushing yards per game. Our second betting advice is to pick under 41.5. New York Giants vs. Los Angeles Chargers. Playing without their starting quarterback, Daniel Jones, the Giants' offense continued to sputter as they played their first game under a new coordinator. The Giants were unable to find the end zone against the Dolphins, having to settle for 3 Graham Gaino field goals. With Jones sidelined, Mike Lennon sub-bet in a quarterback and completed 23 of 44 throws, but for just 187 yards. Saquon Barkley chipped in with 55 yards rushing on just 11 carries. The Giants were able to cut the deficit to 1 score, 17-9, on Gaino's final field goal in the 4th quarter, but could not keep the Dolphins from driving down for the game-clinching field goal. This would be a tough enough matchup for the reeling Giants even if fully healthy, and with either the backup or possibly 3rd-string quarterback set to play, they really can't be trusted here. Los Angeles will have momentum after the huge win last weekend and is far too talented for the Giants on both sides of the ball. Consistency has been the issue for the Chargers offensively, but the ceiling is high when Herbert is on his game, and Los Angeles is right near the top of the NFL leaderboard with an average of 6.0 yards per play. The Giants rank 26th in the same stat with 5.1 yards per play, and neither Glennon nor Fromm will have the ability to come close to matching the explosive playmaking of Herbert downfield, while Barkley just hasn't looked healthy all season long. Our first betting advice is to pick Chargers -10. Los Angeles is .500 against the spread at 6-6 after Sunday's minor upset snapped a run of failing to cover in 3 straight games. Overs are 5-7 for the Chargers, with 4 of their last 6 games going over the betting total. The Chargers moved into the top 10 in scoring offense with a huge performance, averaging 26.2 points and 396.0 yards per game overall for this season. It's been a struggle for a Chargers defense that was expected to be much better, with opponents piling up 26.3 points and 350.7 yards per game. Herbert is having an outstanding sophomore season, completing 315 of 473 pass attempts for 3,547 yards, 27 touchdowns and 11 interceptions. Eckler has been a strong all-around weapon with 149 carries for 663 yards, 56 receptions for 518 yards, and 15 total touchdowns, while Allen has piled up 86 receptions for 929 yards and 4 scores. Derwin James is one of the NFL's best defensive players, having piled up 100 tackles, including 5 for loss, 2 sacks, 5 pass breakups, 2 interceptions and 3 forced fumbles. Our second betting advice is to pick under 44.5.